I want to commend both of you for your appearance here today for what was no doubt going to be some uncomfortable questions, and I want to commend your companies for making you available. I wish I could say the same about Google. I think both of you should, and your company should wear it as a badge of honor that the Chinese Communist Party has blocked you from operating in their country. Perhaps Google didn't send a senior executive today because they've recently taken actions such as terminating cooperation that they had with the American military on programs like artificial intelligence that are designed not just to protect our troops and help them fight and win our country's wars, but to protect civilians as well. This is at the very same time that they continue to cooperate with the Chinese Communist Party on matters like artificial intelligence, or partner with Huawei and other Chinese telecom companies that are effectively arms of the Chinese Communist Party. And credible reports suggest that they are working to develop a new search engine that would satisfy the Chinese Communist Party's censorship standards after having disclaimed any intent to do so 8 years ago. Perhaps they didn't send a witness to answer these questions because there is no answer to those questions, and the silence we would hear right now from the Google chair would be reminiscent of the silence that that witness would provide. So I just want to ask both of you, would your companies ever consider taking these kinds of actions that privilege a hostile foreign power over the United States and especially our men and women in uniform? Ms. Sandberg?
I'm not familiar with the specifics of this at all, but based on how you're asking the question, I don't believe so.
Also no.
So thank you for that answer. Mr. Dorsey, let's turn to Dataminr, which is one of the services that provides basically all of Twitter's data. The last time we had an executive from Twitter before this committee in an open setting, I asked about reports that Dataminr had recently ceased its cooperation with the Central Intelligence Agency. At the same time, it continued to cooperate with Russia Today and other proxies of Russian intelligence services. I have since seen reports that Dataminr no longer cooperates with Russia Today or any other proxy of Russian intelligence services. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did you make that decision personally?
No, we have a long-standing term against utilizing public Twitter data for ongoing 24/7 surveillance.
And that's why you decided to cease cooperation with the Russian government or proxies like Russia Today?
No, that is a different matter. This is
could you explain why you ceased that cooperation then, or that relationship with Russia Today and other Russian intelligence proxies?
When we learned of the link of Russian Today and Sputnik, we ceased to allow them to be an advertiser on the platform. We calculated the amount of advertising they did on the platform as $1.9 million, and we donated that to civil liberties nonprofits.
Would you now reconsider the decision to cease your cooperation with the Central Intelligence Agency or other American intelligence agencies?
We are always open to any legal process that an agency would present us. So we don't believe it necessary. This is a global policy around surveillance in general and real-time surveillance. I will state that all this information, because Twitter is public by default, is available to everyone by just going to our service.
Do you see a difference between cooperating with the United States government and the Russian government or the Chinese government?
Do I see a difference? I'm not sure what you mean.
Is Twitter an American company?
We are an American company.
Do you prefer to see America remain the world's dominant global superpower?
I prefer that we continue to help everywhere we serve, and we are pushing towards that. But we need to be consistent about our terms of service and the reason why. And the reason why is we also have a right and a responsibility to protect the privacy of the people on Twitter from constant 24/7 surveillance. And we have other methods to enable any issues that an intelligence community might see to subpoena and to give us proper legal order, and we will work with them.
I have to say I disagree with any imperative to be consistent between the government of China and Russia on the one hand and the government of the United States on the other hand. Or would you be consistent or even-handed between the government of China and the government of Taiwan?
What I meant was a consistency of our terms of service, and of course there will always be exceptions, but we want to have those go through due legal process.
Let me turn to the actions you've taken about the 2016 election, both of your platforms, and specifically one action you haven't taken. You have removed several accounts as a result of your own investigations. I think some of this committee's work, and I commend your companies for that. One set of accounts that remain on your platforms are WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, when he was the director of the CIA, characterized WikiLeaks as a non-state hostile intelligence service. This committee has agreed with that assessment now for a couple years in a row, yet both WikiLeaks, which propagated some of the leaked emails in the 2016 election from the Democrats, remain active on both Facebook and Twitter, as does Julian Assange. Ms. Sandberg, could you explain why Facebook continues to allow their accounts to be active?
I'm not going to defend WikiLeaks, and I'm not going to defend the actions of any page or actor on our platform. WikiLeaks has been public information. It's available broadly on other media, and as such, it doesn't violate our terms of service, and it remains up on our site.
And Mr. Dorsey?
So we also have not found any violation of our terms of service, but we are open, as always, to any law enforcement insight that would indicate a violation of our terms.
Thank you. My time has nearly expired. Again, I want to commend your companies for making you available and both of you for appearing. I would urge both your companies or any company like yours to consider whether or not they want to be partners in the fight against our adversaries in places like Beijing and Moscow and Pyongyang and Tehran, as opposed to even-handed or neutral arbiters. Thank you.